All right, let's do it. Hi, everybody. Janet, do you want to call the roll?
Yes. Ginger Casper.
Present.
Trevor Hammonds is absent. Renee Porter.
Here.
Dina Flom. Here. Sarah Berry.
Here.
And Susan Ogg is absent.
Do we have any public comments?
No.
Okay. All right, Bart, you're up.
Okay, I think we've got a video that we're going to show here. For those of you who don't know, we have started doing some outreach to families across the state of Oklahoma, introducing ourselves. And so this first round of outreach is based on awareness and just introducing ourselves to the families in the state of Oklahoma that might be looking for an alternative for their child. And so this is our first introduction. It's called We Are Epic. Diversity. It means being heard, being seen. It means being celebrated for our differences. At EPIC, we understand diversity. As the largest statewide virtual charter school in Oklahoma, our students are as diverse as our state, rich and poor, black and white, liberal and conservative.
We serve them all. We are them. In short, we are Oklahoma.
Our students, families, teachers, and staff all come to our doors with their own stories.
Their own history, and for many different reasons.
They come because no matter the reason, they needed school to be different.
And EPIC is different, and we're proud of that.
I came to EPIC so I could learn my way.
Have full access and be understood.
Get back on track.
Be safe.
I came to EPIC so I could travel.
Get better pay.
Get the education that's right for me.
Graduate early.
To get a head start on my career.
No one told them to come here. They came here because they chose to.
EPIC is a choice, a way of life. EPIC is what works when nothing else will.
No one walks the same path.
We're all different. No matter where you're from,
No matter what you've been told before, there is a home for you.
here at EPIC.
Where school can be different, and so can you.
Hey, yay. So I want to say a special thank you to Sean, Craig, Jeremy, Rob, everybody on our communications team for putting that high quality video together that really is amazing. In just a couple of minutes, it encapsulates what makes EPIC unique. And the fact when you look at the students that are in that video, it just shows you what a beautiful melting pot this school is of diversity. And so I'm so proud of the video, and we're sharing it out on all our different social media channels and raising awareness about the fact that we believe we have a high quality alternative for parents to consider. So that's it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I watched that a lot. Okay, do we have a report from you, Renee?
We do. The newly formed audit committee met this afternoon. We began to discuss our work in light of our new governance document, timeline for the audit, and then also reviewed financials. Okay. Thanks.
And Dina, do you have anything for us
Well,
on nominating?
I lost my my committee chair, so I've been promoted to nominating committee chair, and I would like to move that.
We'll do that soon in the agenda.
Oh, I apologize.
It's okay.
So there's nothing to report at this point,
Okay, thank you.
other than I'm a one-man show.
All right, looks like you're up, Bob.
All right. So it's a good month at Epic, which is typical.
Aw.
Yeah, if you could. You know, I think sometimes IT people, Roger, are just here to embarrass us. That's our inadequacy. So no. Actually, this is kind of a fun month because I talk about performance all the time, but we also get to find out whether people kind of appreciate the performance we give them this month. And so we're going to cover two things. We're going to cover the academic achievement, and then we're also going to cover the NPS scores that we just got back for spring. So let's go with the first one. The good news, we had a slowdown, a little bit of a slowdown in March, but we picked it back up in April. It's a very good chance that we're going to end the month higher than previously. We have, unfortunately, we've been without state data for forever. I mean, we can't remember the last time we had state data, but the good news is these are highly predictive of state results, and so we anticipate seeing some good results overall. This is English language arts, so we're, you know, it's our goals were very, very aggressive. You can tell that we've made real progress for the year. Let's take a look at math. Math, same thing. Still got some pretty strong results in March and April. We had a little slowdown. You'll see a bigger notch here. We're back in business on this one, so good overall. Questions at all on the performance side? Routine stuff. Next slide. So NPS, next one. Here is how many people responded to the NPS score. As of this morning, you're over 2,500, so they're still coming in. The results are unchanged because, you know, 100 added to 2,400, you don't get much movement in any of the data sets. I wanted to point out the parents and the students are making up an increasingly large percentage of the respondents, which is probably a good sign. It's not a lack of commitment on the part of employees as much as it is much more interest. To give you an idea, the first NPS score we did for the school about 2 years ago, we had 44 students answer, and this time around you've got about, you know, somewhere around 1,000, 1,200 students that are involved. Now that's good news and bad news because, as you can imagine, students' opinions about school are not necessarily the most proactive and positive, so we'll take a look at that in a minute. Let's see the next slide. And here's where we find it. So first of all, what's a good NPS score? And I'll just quickly recap. That's Net Promoter Score. It's commonly used in business and industry. We see it more and more used in education. Why not education in the past? Because for the most part, educators thought they ran a monopoly. You had a district, your kids attended, and that's what happens. Places like Epic came along and said, well, that's not exactly true. There's people that may choose other things. Private schools, vouchers, Catholic schools, homeschooling, micro schools, the list gets longer and longer, and so more and more aggressive. Needs improvement, 0 to -100. We have nobody below 0. Good is 0 to 30. Great is 30 to 70. So 30 to 70, we've got a whole bunch of people that are above the 30%. They're in the great range. And then 70 is excellent. Give you an idea, Lexus and Mercedes score about a 77. But only John Deere gets above Lexus and Mercedes. So that tells you something about an institution that people admire. So what we end up with is the breakout of how long you're with the organization. You'll see that the longer they spend time with Epic, the more they like it. So if you get 1 or less years, we're in that 10 to 20 range, all the way up to 5 years or more, and we're up into the great range. So that's a real positive. The more you interact with the people, the better. You'll also see that showing up in fall to spring. We get better results in spring, which is when this exact survey was done. We'll see what happens in the fall, but I think it's going to be pretty positive. Very small ends here at community. Students above 0, typically we see minus 20 to minus 45 for students in regular school districts. So you're really beating the odds on that one. Faculty overall internal is faculty and administrators combined, you're in the 50s, so you're well into the grade category. If you look at parents and overall excluding students, we're nearly 40, so we're well into the grade category. All overall really positive. Next slide. Here is what you look at from a longitudinal basis. It looks like a Christmas tree that's died. But 2023 is the black lines. Everything before it were spring, fall. We obviously will have fall in 2023. You'll notice that the highest marks were spring 2021, really high numbers in the participation. Then we went through a little bit of a rough spell, and then we're coming back. Student performance, again, this one is based on 44, so that 22 is just a really small end, doesn't mean much. But you'll notice beating out prior performance in the previous survey by quite a bit all the way through the lines. Next slide. And this shows you spring 2023 back to fall, all in the green, everything's up, and the promoters, if you take a look at it overall, 1,206 promoters out of the 2403, which is about 50%. 50% of the people are out there publicly saying Epic is a great place to be. And last slide, I think, is it. Yeah. Questions, comments?
I think it's interesting, Bob, when you look at those trends. Here we are, and we read about this national teacher shortage that is going on, not just in Oklahoma, but I think throughout the United States. We have educators that are certified educators that are leaving the profession to go do something else other than teach children. And so I think when you look at the NPS scores in terms of our faculty, and then you sort of couple that with the fact that we have, I think, around 700 certified teachers in the state of Oklahoma that have applied to work at Epic, suggests that this is a good place to educate kids. And so I'm encouraged by those numbers. I'm encouraged by the trend line. I like the fact that we're doing it in the fall and in the spring. Right. And I think it's also encouraging that we have educators outside of the Epic ecosystem that are wanting to get in the Epic ecosystem.
So that 700 people wanting in is just a reinforcement that these numbers are real, that they're not contrived in any way. NPS scores like that for a school district are surprisingly high all the way around. What I most like is that it's not an either or, it's a both and. We're seeing improved performance on the student achievement side, improved performance on the teacher satisfaction side, and that's the sweet spot, right? We can't have one without the other, and in fact, neither one of them will work effectively. If you have low NPS scores on your faculty, you're going to have low on the teachers and the parents, and then that leads to poor performance in the classroom all the way around, so good. Other comments or questions? Otherwise, we'll let you move on with your agenda. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Okay, let's see. Looks like Dr. Wilkinson is up.
I just briefly wanted to speak with you about EPIC's 2021-22 performance framework. So it's important to remember that it's not for this school year that we're in May and completing, but for quite some time ago when this board was still very much in a transition period. There are several things that influence the performance framework, and I believe you have it in your board packets. I just wanted to point out 2 or 3 things. And as Dr. Summers just said, we haven't had state academic information in a very long time. Mm-hmm. So we have waited these past few months for Oklahoma school testing program information from the spring of '22, other school report card information from the 21-22 school year to be presented to the State Board of Education, certified, so to speak, as they have done in years past. Finally, we just got to the point that on April 13th, we said, our performance framework is done. We don't have all of the information, but schools need to know how they're progressing financially, how they're progressing organizationally. So we moved forward with completing 2 of the 3 sections of the performance framework. I will tell you that toward the end of April, while the information didn't go to the state school board for certification, that some of that information was released. We couldn't just plug it into the framework because we look at the data a little different than the state. The state says, okay, at this particular time frame, here's how all students did. We need to dig deeper to say, okay, in that time frame, how did your full academic year students, the students who had come to EPIC, had been here for a full academic year to really receive benefit from the programs. Additionally, we look at, okay, how do your students who have been enrolled 2 or more full academic years, how are they progressing? And then we look at 4-year students. They've been here 4 full academic years. How are they progressing? So it will take us some time to come work with the EPIC team to pull that information. Just as you look at employees who have been here 2 years, 4 years, it's important to look at the students to see how they're doing, how they're progressing. So all that said, there isn't an academic section to the performance framework. However, I did want to share with you that we do have a score in the financial responsibility of 74.29. Remembering that's 21-22, a lot was happening. This board was progressing, a lot of changes to practices with your financial records were happening at that time. But that's still up from 44.4 in the prior year. So it is still a huge success, and I would expect that when we're back here, hopefully next fall, because hopefully we'll get in a pattern of seeing data in a little bit more timely manner, that score would be even increased at that point. So fingers crossed on that one, even though it's cause to celebrate even tonight with the progress that you've made. Organizationally, you came in at a 96.48, which is important. And for me personally, the most important part of the organizational section is the function of the board, because I just will stand on my soapbox and continue to say that when you have a strong board who cares about kids, who cares about their learning, doing the right thing, you've either got a strong school or you've got a school that is improving. So with that said, do you have other questions about the performance framework? Perfect.
Thank you very much.
I will say just one more piece, that our own administrative rules say we must present these annually. It is May. We're here.
Thank you very much. Okay, now we can do consideration and possible action to select member for the nominating committee. I would accept a nomination if anyone would have one.
Move to nominate Ms. Berry, please.
And I would second that. You can call the vote, yep. I'm sorry. Oh, I'm sorry. I think the motion on the table is to nominate Sarah to this committee. Okay.
I didn't hear that. Who
And this was the motion. Yeah. I'm the second.
motion, Ginger second.
Ginger, okay, thank you.
Ginger?
Yes.
Renee?
Yes.
Dina?
Yes.
Sarah?
I guess I should say yes, or we're in trouble. Yes. Sarah, thank you. I'm glad that you consent to that. I did agree to that. Okay, we're back to Bart.
Something I want to say, and I don't even think she's in here, but I just want to say thank you to Serena for getting us food every single month when we come to the board meeting. And she's just somebody who works behind the scenes. And it's just a selfless leader. She really is. And she's probably in cleaning up right now, but just thank you, Serena. You may watch this back later, so I just want to say thank you. I appreciate that. All right, let's go to our superintendent report, and thank you, Dr. Wilkinson, for presenting. I agree with Dr. Wilkinson. Significant progress, both organizationally and financially, from where we were last year and where we are this year, and we're also hopeful that we're going to see a performance uptick as well. So let's go to the superintendent's update from May 10th. Here's our 5 aspirations. I just want to give you all a heads up. I planted the seed last month, and I'm going to bring to you some slight minor modifications to our 5 aspirations based on conversations with our executive leadership team, based on the Baldridge work that we're doing right now. We're going to bring you, for consideration, some small tweaks to the language in our 5 aspirations, but it'll fit perfectly as we roll into the new fiscal year. So it'll still be 5 aspirations, but the wording will be just a little bit different. Go ahead. I want to say thank you to our teachers. We have, I think, around 1,000 teachers here at EPIC, certified teachers all around the state of Oklahoma. This is Teacher Appreciation Week, and our teachers, and I'm biased, I know that, but our teachers, I think, are the best in the state of Oklahoma. They go above and beyond to serve their students, to serve the families, and I just wanted to tip my hat to them and say thank you for your work. This, we talk about education in the school year it's not a sprint, it's a marathon. And there's ups and downs, and there's seasons of not just EPIC, but of the school year itself. And the other thing, and I think I've said this to you all, like, one of the privileges of being a part of this organization is that, in my opinion, we serve one of the most vulnerable populations in all of Oklahoma. The children that encompass this school are incredibly unique and special, and so we know that there is a direct link between a high-quality teacher and the success of the students they serve. And so we just wanted to say thank you to our teachers who do incredible work here at EPIC, and it's the reason why the NPS survey that you just saw, the data that you saw, that's because of, in part, our teachers and the staff that we have here at EPIC serving our families with a focus on customer service and excellence. All right, let's go. Standards Mastery, this will be the last month for our Standards Mastery, so we wanted to recognize an ELA formative completion, Jeff Upton, Trishelle Raymond, Angela Kel Mendoza, and then for ELA formative mastery, Sheila Sanders, Morgan Holtz, and Trishelle Raymond. Math formative completion, Sheila Sanders, Trishelle Raymond, Morgan Holtz, and then for math formative mastery, Amanda Pilgrim, Morgan Holtz, and Angela Keck. And that's what Bob reports on to you. What's encouraging here is what Bob focuses on is mastery. But what I've seen is from our data, and you all will be encouraged by this, is that we have a number of principals that are at EPIC that have teachers that are 100% done in terms of completion. So that you've got completion, meaning did you expose the kid to the standard, and did you assess it? And we have hundreds of teachers that have exposed their kids to 100% of the Oklahoma academic standards. And so when you do that, it may take the kid a little time to master that standard. We may have to go back and reteach and reassess, but just know that the work is being done. And I'm encouraged. I'm thankful for these principals who have led the way, and just wanted to recognize them as well. I promised you I would bring you pictures from the prom, and I have delivered on that promise. And so I just want you to take a minute to soak up the dresses, the fun and the festivities of the EPIC prom, the night under the stars and the enchanted forest. So, we've got video. Thank you, Sean. Let's see it. Very good. Yes, great job, Sean. Thank you for bringing that to life. So very excited to be able to put on the prom both in Oklahoma City and then also there in Tulsa as well. So kids on both sides of the state. So this is something that's new, Construct My Future, a construction camp. So we're always looking for enrichment opportunities for our students, particularly in the summertime. It's a wonderful time for hands-on kinesthetic learning that we don't get to do a lot of during the school year. And so there's going to be a great opportunity for students in grades 7th and 8th grade during the fall of 2023 who enjoy working with their hands and are interested in learning about trade skills. And so just wanted to let people know that this event will take place 8 a.m. to 4 p.m. each day, June 5th through the 9th. Lunch is going to be provided. So this is for the parents that are watching on the live stream right now or might be watching the YouTube channel tomorrow or the day after. Just know that this opportunity is coming up. So if you've got a 7th grader or an 8th grader that might be interested in that, this is sort of a pathway towards career tech. The Hugs Project. Last week, we wrapped up the Epic School-Wide Hugs Military Letter Writing Project. Hundreds of letters have been collected thanks to all those who contributed, and they're going to be shipped out across the world to our American heroes. One of our parents wrote, quote, "Thank you so much. What a wonderful way for a child to be educated. We have no service members in our family. My daughter has not been introduced to their way of life and their sacrifice. As she learned what they often face, the letter writing helped secure in her mind and now the memory." So end quote. So you can see some of the pictures from some of our kiddos that took time to write letters to our American heroes. And so we just wanted to salute our military men and women who are serving and sacrificing for our freedom. ENN at OU Scholastic Media Day. Epic competed in the statewide journalism contest, Division I against all schools in the state, and the ENN staff performed well and won several prizes. Wanted to give a shout out to Phil. Phil, raise your hand there in the back. Phil runs our ENN department, and so yeah. And does a fantastic with our kiddos. You can see the different honors that were won there. And this is something that we've been doing for many, many years. And so, it's a blessing to be able to provide tangible takeaways for our students that are interested in various aspects of media. In some cases, that may be journalism. In some cases, it may be photography. Whatever that is media related, digital media related, it's a blessing to be able to provide someone with Phil's experience, over 20 years of experience in the media. And so they're learning from a master at his craft. So congratulations to our ENN students at OU Scholastic Media. The family engagement update. Epic students were invited to the Guyman Fire Station for Community Outreach and Career Explorations Day. So we are literally going to the corners of our state. We were in Guyman, and they toured the smoke trailer to learn all about fire safety and what to do if there's a fire in your home. And of course, the Guyman Fire Station is the only fire school offered in Oklahoma. They offer a senior internship program and train students and EMT fighters and Firefighter 1 classes, and have extended this internship to any Epic students who are interested. And so after these students graduate, they'll have the firsthand experience on the job and an opportunity to work or volunteer with the Guyman Fire Station. So we thank our friends at the Guyman Fire Station for, again, providing a hands-on enrichment opportunity. I've said it before, I'll say it again. We are providing field trip opportunities for Epic families in all 4 quadrants every month. And so if you're looking to get your kids out and about, an opportunity to socialize with other kids, and then obviously an opportunity to get hands-on learning, this is a wonderful opportunity. So a special thank you to our family engagement team who do such a wonderful job of putting on these events all across the state of Oklahoma. If you've not been to one of those and you're a parent watching, I would strongly encourage you to attend one of our family engagement opportunities. Next up, Epic Ed 23-24. What is Epic Ed? Epic Ed is Epic's own pre-K through 10th grade curriculum created by Epic teachers and our curriculum designers that is 100% aligned to the Oklahoma academic standards. Here's something that you may not know, which is that these different curriculum choices that are offered in some cases are only 50, 60, 70% aligned to the Oklahoma academic standards. And so the challenge for our teachers, back to the Teacher Appreciation Week, which is they have to fill in the gaps. So that, that 30 to 40% that might not be covered in the core curriculum has to be covered through supplemental curriculum, except with Epic Ed. And so this was a project that we actually started a couple years ago to actually create our own curriculum that is 100% aligned to the Oklahoma academic standards. And here's what's cool about that curriculum. It also, we're embedding ISTE standards, so if you're familiar with technology and ISTE standards, and then we're also embedding within it future-ready graduate standards, because that's what the board wants. So things like wayfinding and the 4 quadrants and the NGLC My Ways. And so we've taken feedback and transitioned to a new platform called Buzz, which is the same platform that the Bright Thinker curriculum, which so many of our students, thousands, use Bright Thinker, including my daughter. So it's the same platform. Epic Ed's going to be hosted there, and it's so we're extremely excited. It's simplified navigation and user-friendly experience for students, caregivers, teachers alike, and we're excited to elevate your learning with the Epic Ed in 23-24 school year. And here's what's cool about having our own proprietary curriculum is that we can take that feedback and we can do something about it. We control it. The variable is control. So we can, if there's something that parents offer us feedback and we're hearing, there's consensus about this needs to change or that needs to change, we can go in and update that and make it even better. And so we're constantly listening to our families. We're constantly listening to parents and taking in their feedback, whereas with other core curriculum that we don't own, we don't have that same leverage to be able to make those edits and changes on the fly. We can offer suggestions, and they might take them, but they might not. And so being able to do that for our families, and one other cool thing that's really neat about this, you all are familiar with our Learning Fund. Every kid gets a $1,000 virtual credit every single year at Epic. And what's cool about the Epic Ed curriculum is that we offer it for free because it's ours. And so we don't charge families. And so that allows them to take their Learning Fund dollars even further with extracurriculars or more supplementals or whatever it is the parent chooses. And so that's something that we're going to be able to offer to all EPIC students this next year, pre-K through 10th grade, even if it's just a supplemental. So they can choose the core of their choice if they want to go with Bright Thinker or Apex or whatever it is, but they'll have this as a secondary option that is 100% aligned. And so it's good for teachers, and it's certainly good for students. We've got an admin retreat coming up here in June. So the admin retreat is going to be held at the Choctaw Casino Resort in Durant, and this is an opportunity for us to bring 500 EPIC administrators from all across the state of Oklahoma into one centralized location. The retreat's one opportunity each year for our admin team to get together and set goals, plan for the next school year, and we're going to have breakout sessions, all kinds of opportunities for our employees to meet in small settings and collaborate. And so we're excited about being able to do that. What's interesting is, when you work in a traditional brick and mortar environment, and I did that for almost 2 decades, you take for granted this face-to-face that we have and the ability to just walk down the hallway and pop your head into a classroom. But in a virtual environment, those opportunities are pretty precious. And being able to connect face-to-face with people to build camaraderie and teamwork and whatnot. And so this is a wonderful opportunity for us to connect with people that in some cases we might not have seen for a couple of months. And so it's going to be a great opportunity to do some team building and to do some goal setting and planning for the 23-24 school year. But it's also a good opportunity for us to do some reflection on the 22-23 school year and looking at data like our state test results, for example, and how did we do, and where did we hit the mark, and where didn't we hit the mark? And so that all goes into the planning and goal stage, the goal setting stage of what we do at our admin retreat. And so we're excited about bringing everybody together at the Choctaw Casino Resort in Durant. Student Excellence Award, next month I'm going to honor one EPIC student that's going to be selected to receive our Student Excellence Award. The student's selected at the end of each semester, and you can nominate a student, or students can nominate themselves on our website. Entries close at the end of May, and if you've nominated a student earlier this school year, the student will be included in this year's selection. So Student Excellence Award, that should be coming up next month. A couple of things I wanted to say. Every year we have teachers that retire from EPIC, and May is the perfect opportunity to say thank you for their work, because if you've been in public education long enough to retire, you're probably looking at somewhere around a 30 to 40 year career. And so to commit yourself to the education of Oklahoma children for 3 or 4 decades demands our respect. And so we wanted to pay homage to Kathy, Debbie, Ann, Kelly, Kim, Lori, and Donna for their efforts, not just this school year, but throughout their career. When you think about the multiplication impact that these teachers have had on Oklahoma children over the course of their career, what a legacy to leave. And so we wanted to just say thank you to our retirees for the 22-23 school year. And if you change your mind, give me a call. Next up, and finally, I wanted to say thank you. Most of you all know that Ed Long's term expired a couple months ago, and Susan's term expires this month, during the month of May. And so I just wanted to say thank you to both Ed and Susan for their service to our school, to the organization, to the community at large. They have been wonderful to work with. And so I just wanted to take the opportunity to thank them for their leadership, for their courage, and their willingness to step up and to step in during a very pivotal time in our organization's history. So thank you, Ed. Thank you, Susan. And that's it.
Thank you, Bart. Thanks.
Can I ask an Epic Ed question?
Yes, please do.
Okay, so my Epic Ed question is, it goes up to 10th grade.
Yes.
So what about the other 2 grades?
We're building it next year.
Oh, you're building it out. Okay, gotcha. Thank
Yep.
you.
So it takes a little bit of time. High school is tricky because it's subject-based, and you've got, you're looking at 6 to 7 classes, plus you've got electives. And so we built 9th and 10th grade this year, and so we'll launch it for 23-24. We're building 11th and 12th grade, and we'll launch that for 24-25. So we will have a pre-K through 12, 100% aligned to Oklahoma academic standards next year.
Awesome. Thank you.
Yeah.
Okay, it looks like we're going to hear from Janice.
Another month has ended, so I'm back. This is the financial review for the period ended March 31st, so the end of the 3rd quarter of the fiscal year, so 9 months in. And the packet has all of the nitty-gritty details, of course, as usual, with the bank reconciliation and the review. The bank balance at the end of March was just over $80 million, with $3.7 million worth of outstanding checks or warrants. And then on the income statement, the revenue year to date, just under $228 million, $151 million and a half in expenses. And so that gives you a fund balance for the fiscal year of $76.5 million, which is very healthy. 75% is the goal at 9 months, and revenue is starting to trend right where it's supposed to be, which we expected, because we were a little bit front-funded this year at 76%, and expenses are still very below goal. Again, I'll remind you, we will have a large month in June because of our teacher bonuses that happen every year after school is out. So that'll be a significant jump in our expenditures, and it's budgeted for. And it's actually, we did an earmark encumbrance this month. It's in your packet. You probably saw it when you were reviewing. It probably jumped off the page because it's large. And that one will be liquidated when the individual teacher POs are placed. But we don't have the amounts yet because the data is not all here. So that'll be end of May, beginning of June when those start getting calculated. The comparison, I want to be like Bob when I grow up charts, still trending exactly the way that it should for revenue. January, February, and March, we may not see this again, I don't know, but 2 years in a row, we were front-funded because of the way the school district growth trend happened and how it's funded on prior year, and then it's changed. So state aid falls off for a little while and then comes back. So 2 years in a row that's happened. It's not a problem as long as you're expecting it. So we'll see what happens next year with our enrollment and our funding. Lots of questions about funding right now for the state of Oklahoma. Expenses are trending exactly where they should for the blue, which is this current year. Everything looks pretty normal. The Learning Fund update. Any questions about the financials before I go on to the Learning Fund? This is what you really want, right? This is really the fun stuff. So the Learning Fund is processing orders right now that were placed prior to the March 31st deadline, and I've got some details about that coming up. But as of when I made the slide yesterday, 575,000 items were processed by the assets team, and 145,000 almost items were processed by the purchasing team. Those aren't orders. I just want to make sure this is clear because I'm going to show you some statistics on another slide. Those are items. So you could have an Amazon order with 200 items on it, but they have to look at every single item to make sure that it is allowable, that it's age appropriate, that it meets the recommendations on the requirements of their IEP. If they have an IEP, there's a lot of review that's very human, interactive, touching every item that happens on these orders. So encumbrances, and that's all the normal. I just want you to see this. There were 9,500 open orders when we closed ordering on March 31st. As of yesterday, there are 3,300 left. All of those orders were placed on March 31st. So they're processing orders that are all dated March 31st, and there's 3,300 left. So that is a significant waiting until the last minute to order, which they have, but that's why we're still processing in May, because it's a lot of orders. All the orders that, if a parent is watching and they have an order that's older than that, there's probably an issue that's being resolved, or send us a chat if you haven't talked to anyone about it, because they are working on March 31st. So I just want to give a shout out to the purchasing team and the Learning Fund, because they are working tirelessly with smiles on their faces, and they're happy to be crunching these orders as fast as they possibly can. And we fully expect that they will be done with those very, very soon. That's a lot of orders on one day, right? So. And I think they told me the number of orders for the whole year is in the upper 20,000s.
Yeah, that's a lot.
For the whole year. So to have 9,500 open when we closed was significant. I have one more thing. So you approved last month the purchase of school supply kits for next year and the backpack project that's been talked about. And I have a Vanna White. This is very exciting. These are our new student backpacks.
What?
Aren't those so fun?
Love it.
I just love them. So next year, every student at Epic will have a brand new backpack. And inside the backpack is a basic school supply kit. And I can pull it out and show it to you, but it's pens and pencils and erasers and paper and things like that. If they're new and they're getting a Chromebook, their Chromebook will go to them in this backpack. So we won't have this plus a laptop bag. If they're not new, they're going to get one of these to replace whatever old thing they're carrying around right now. So this is a really big project, and we're thankful to the board and to ELT for supporting our students in this way. And I'll leave it up here on the table. Everybody can kind of ooh and ah over it later, but I just think that they turned out really great.
It's great.
So this is an exciting thing. And that is all I have, unless there are questions.
Thank you, Denise. Do we have any questions?
Hey, Ginger, I failed to mention somebody who actually wrote the script for the We Are Epic video that we watched, Brandon Beard. I wanted to say thank you to Brandon Beard for writing that script for us. It came off flawlessly, and he's part of our communications department, but I failed to mention him, so I wanted to say thank you.
Well, thank
Yes.
you. And thank you, Denise. Okay. We're great, I think. Is everybody good? I would accept a motion to approve the financial statements for the period ending March 31, 2023.
I make a motion to accept the financials.
Second.
Second.
Ginger?
Yes.
Renee?
Yes.
Dina?
Yes.
Sarah?
Yes.
And it looks like we have consideration and possible action on resolution adopting the School District Budget Act as a method of establishing the legal budget for 2023, 2024 school year. That was fast.
I forgot that's me. This is very important. So this is new for some of our board members. There are two legal methods to adopt a budget for a school district in the state of Oklahoma. There's the Estimate of Needs or the School District Budget Act. And most schools do the Estimate of Needs, which is a very complicated multi-page document that analyzes all of your financial data and it determines what your legal budget should be for the upcoming school year. The School District Budget Act looks a lot like their financial statements. It has revenue and expenditures, just like the financial statements. So when you look at the monthly financial statement that's in your packet and you see the budget, that is actually the budget that was approved by the board. It was revised in February. And so when you choose the School District Budget Act, there are several advantages. It's much, much simpler, especially for a school like Epic that doesn't have bonding and doesn't have a sinking fund and doesn't have a building fund. We literally just have the general fund. So just having that one fund, there would be a lot of blank pages in an estimate of needs. The estimate of needs has to be prepared by a CPA. So that's another time and expense. And then also the School District Budget Act can be modified. The budget can be changed by the board at any meeting. So you could change it every month if you needed to. I hope we never need to do that. But if you have a sudden growth in your school and you need to encumber more funds and you need more budget capacity, then that could be brought to the board could approve it, and it's immediately available. So if the board approves this as our budgeting method, which is what I'm recommending this evening, next month we'll have the budget presented for the 23-24 school year. And with that approval, those funds are available for us to encumber, to issue POs for on July 1. The entire budget's available on July 1. The estimate of needs is a little bit more complicated on how that money is able to be encumbered. There's some timing issues. It's usually not available right in that early. It's usually in the fall after your auditor's engaged and all of that. So there are lots of advantages to the School District Budget Act. But the number one thing for us is the flexibility and the simplicity. That's the number one and number two. So if there are any questions about the recommendation tonight, all we're asking for you to consider is choosing the School District Budget Act and not the estimate of needs. And this has been our method of budgeting. This will be our third year. So we switched right after I got here.
Thank you, Denise.
Yeah.
Yes, a motion to, okay, hold on.
The Budget Act.
We're going to adopt the School District Budget Act as the method of establishing legal budget for the 2023-24 school year.
Correct.
So moved. Okay.
Second? I was moving. Are you asking me to?
I think you move. I will second.
Thank you.
Ginger,
Yes.
Renee,
Yes.
Dina,
Yes.
Sarah.
Yes.
Okay, we have consideration and possible action on summer and program plus job description and rate of pay. Who's talking about those?
Oh, hi.
It is I.
It is I.
Gosh, that took me back to some Romeo and Juliet. Anyway, Summer Plus. Last year we started a Summer Plus program, which is project-based learning camps, if you will, over the summer. Our teachers are not required, but they apply and volunteer their summertime and receive a stipend. This is paid by federal programs. But basically we have students, any student that might need remediation, as well as any student and their parent that say, hey, I want more. I want more enrichment. I want to do something in the summer. We have these project-based learning camps that we started providing last year. They were really successful. For our teachers, it's kind of one of those things that, for me being upper level math, I always had that one project every year that I couldn't wait to get to. That was my favorite project in the entire school year. This gives our teachers an opportunity to do that, one favorite project or two camps if they wish, in order to have these project-based learning. So before you is just the job descriptions and the rate of pay, which is the same as last year, but it did require board approval.
Yeah, so I'll make a motion to accept the Summer Plus program job descriptions and rate of pay as presented.
I'll second. Oh. Ginger,
Yes.
Renee,
Yes.
Dina,
Yes.
Sarah.
Yes. All right, Justin, we're back to you.
We are back to me. We're going to be with me for a little bit. FEV tutor contract for next school year. We've partnered with FEV for our tutoring really since I've been here, maybe for the entire duration of school. I know for a decade that Mr. Banfield's been here. So basically what FEV does for us is targeted tutoring. We have multiple resources for tutoring for our students online. Some of them are 24/7. Some of them are targeted. Some of them are chat and whiteboard based. Some of them are video. Some of them are in person. So what we found based on national results, national data, as well as internal data, is the more time a student spends with targeted tutoring or tutoring, the higher their results become or the more growth that they achieve as a student. But we're a school of choice, so we try to offer as many choices as possible. Some students want to learn in person, some students need the video, and some students learn other ways. So FEV Tutor, what they provide for us is what we call targeted tutoring, as I mentioned. So they take our benchmark results that our students, they take these benchmark tests, and then their tutors are trained to fill in the gaps based off of the standards that our students didn't master. So when a student is scheduled for, we call it ETI, Epic Targeted Tutoring, a student is scheduled for Epic Targeted Tutoring, that tutor knows what standard the student needs to be retaught or assisted with, and that's the schedule, if you will. They tutor them on that specific standard or those specific standards. In the past, we've done this just with 3 through 8. We're looking at expanding that to 3 through 12. And so the reason that it's not on the consent agenda, because it's something we've done every year, the reason it was pulled out is because it is an increase, because we're expanding our capacity of students with FEV.
Do you get good results from it? I mean, do we track it?
Yeah, so the magic number is 15.
Okay.
So what external research will show you, as well as our internal research shows you, is that if students will engage for 15 hours of targeted tutoring, then they will grow by about 1.5 years on average. And so, yeah, we're getting good results if the kids will engage with it. But again, for some kids, it's not the best fit, and so we have to find alternatives.
I'm sorry to interrupt, but what's the number of children? that
1 out of
actually-
3 that will engage with what we call fidelity. And then probably beyond that, below fidelity, I would say probably 1 out of 2. Would you agree with that, Justin?
Yeah, I would agree with that.
Yeah. But 1 out of 3 with fidelity, it fluctuates between 30 and 40% of our student population, like they're in. And it's encouraging, but it's not the perfect fit for all students. It's not.
Okay.
Thank
Do you
you.
have any other questions?
Yeah.
Sorry.
Thank you.
Sorry. Anything else, anybody? I would accept a motion to approve this if the board's ready.
So moved.
Second.
Ginger,
Yes.
Renee,
Yes.
Dina,
Yes.
Sarah.
Yes. And I have no idea what that means.
Do what?
We're back to you.
We are F, yeah. Consideration and possible action on Sooner Recon contract for Stonegate roof replacement. Stonegate is one of our virtual learning centers. It's actually a building that we own that was purchased 3-4 years ago, I believe, when we were with a former management company. When we purchased that, we knew that there was issues with the roof, and they weren't addressed at the time, and they are now beyond repair. So the ask in front of you is to repair, or actually replace, not repair, the roof at Stonegate VLC.
Okay.
I'll make a motion to approve.
Second.
Ginger,
Yes.
She said yes.
Renee,
Yes.
Dina,
Yes.
Sarah.
Yes. All right. On the consent agenda, does anybody have anything they need to call out, to pull out, or? Then I'd accept a motion to approve the consent agenda.
I'll make a motion to approve the consent agenda as presented.
Second.
Ginger,
Yes.
Renee,
Yes.
Dina,
Yes.
Sarah.
Yes. All right. I will move that we adjourn.
Second.
Ginger,
Yes.
Renee,
Yes.
Dina,
Yes.
Sarah. Yes.
Thank you, everyone. That was so.